Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to another Omniscience Draft of Avatar: The Last Airbender, also known as me throwing my gems into the wood chipper so you don't have to. Omniscience Draft is the highest variance kind of draft format on Arena. There's a lot of crazy turn one kills and stuff with it. It is absolute chaos, utter nonsense. It can be a fun time, but be absolutely warned. It's very, very high variance for a format that you still have to spend the full quick draft entry fee on and is ranked for some reason. So, buyer be warned. This is a format where everything you cast for completely free, meaning that you can play a bunch of draw spells in one turn, dump your whole hand, and delete your opponent before they have a chance to do absolutely anything. You could be sitting against the best player in the world, combo off, play your whole deck, Ozai's Cruelty them so they have no cards left in their hand, and that's it. That's game. That is Omniscience for you. It can be very fun on the comboing end of things and very disappointing on the other end, but it's a very cool, very unique way to draft in that the pick order completely changes from a regular draft environment. So it's definitely still cool to check out if you do have the gold and gems to spare and you don't mind really spinning that lottery wheel. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one here, and see what we have to play with today. We're definitely going to take the Unagi of Kyoshi Island. Everyone is going to be drafting the card draw spells higher than anything else in this format because those are the spells that you can play and loop together and chain together into running out 10 or 20 cards in one turn. They are some of the strongest cards in Omniscience at all, so the Unagi being able to basically draw you an extra two cards every one of your opponent's turns is going to be fantastic. So we take the Unagi of Kyoshi Island here to start off. Other great cards, Geyser Leaper, pretty easy to use that water bending. Professor Zay, we're going to be running 40 non-land cards, so we'll be running quite a few filler cards by the end of the draft to where discarding and drawing works. Some Omniscience decks in this format could actually be playing some lands. You can play some islands to get the water bending scroll to work, or you could end up playing some lands if you have some really strong earth bending cards, just to get those earth bending cards to work. Because again, your last playables, your 30th to 40th best non-land cards, are going to be really mediocre usually by Omniscience standards. So that's important to keep in mind. There are some instances where you could actually play lands in the Avatar Omniscience draft. Pick two, I think we go Boomerang basics here. You want to draft a lot of good enter the battlefield effect creatures. Anything that enters the battlefield and makes a clue, or enters the battlefield and draws a card, or enters the battlefield and tries to cast something from a graveyard. So being able to Boomerang basics back your own creature with an enter effect and draw a card in the process is pretty massive. The other thing about this is this can pick up a shrine, and shrines can be pretty powerful in Omniscience as well, particularly because the blue shrine that draws you cards for each shrine you control. So like bouncing that, recasting it, getting a lot deep in your deck can be huge. So we'll take Boomerang basics there. Guru Pathik seems pretty reasonable. It has basically a draw ability when it enters the battlefield, grabbing a saga or shrine or lesson. So it can grab our Boomerang basics and then we can like pick it up, draw a card, and get another card deeper. It can find the blue card draw shrine, or if we open one of the mythic sagas or something, could draw that as well. So we'll take Guru here. Other good cards, Union Archers, discard one, draw one is still good. It's worth noting, Quench looks kind of useless in Omniscience because everybody does have 5 mana per turn they can spend on anything. But in this set in Omniscience, there's a lot of clue tokens and stuff. So on rare occasion, your opponent might not actually have the extra 2 up. So sometimes, again, very rarely, you should still not take Quench highly at all. But I can see an instance where Quench actually does a thing. Pick 4. Aang's Journey could pick up an island and the like card draw shrine. So if we get the card draw shrine and we run islands towards waterbending scroll, without having either of those cards yet, that feels like a pretty bold speculation. Is there anything that's even much better, though? There's the Giant Koi for unblockable attacks, which is kind of big. Just random big, dirty finisher. Or there's the clue token from Air Nomad Legacy. It is a draw one. It gets us immediately to the next card in our deck, but it requires us to spend emblem mana. Some of our 5 mana per turn. Legacy, Aang's Journey, and Giant Koi I could see all doing something here. Just going to get the clue and draw the card. Well, yeah, Aang's Journey is just going to be so awful if we don't open the shrines for it. It's just not going to fit in the deck at all, and you don't really have room to make any cuts in Omniscience. Like, this is worse than like a 2/2 if we don't find a shrine. Pick 5, Waterbending Lesson, Slam Dunk. This is the mythic common of the set. This is better than almost every single card, including the majority of rares and mythics in Omniscience. Draw 3 is absolutely absurd when every spell is free. It's one of the most consistent ways to make sure you loop through your deck. Abandon Attachments is also fantastic. Definitely one of the best cards. Not quite the Waterbending Lesson level of absurdity, but great. Low and Lee's fantastic. Picks up Waterbending Lesson out of the deck. You could also Low and Lee into Boomerang Basics, then pick it up, draw a card, play it again, then pick up Waterbending Lesson. A lot of goofy and powerful things you can do with Low and Lee. Sokka's Haiku is very good, but someone has to have a land on board for it. That's the problem. If we take and run Sokka's Haiku, we have to run some lands. The competition here is not particularly fierce. We're running a really mid creature, or we're taking the Haiku. The issue with the Haiku, which I am still going to take it, is that technically it's like having to run Haiku and like 3 or 4 more filler cards because we have to run random filler lands now. But I'm going to do it. I'll take Haiku over really mid creatures. Pick 9, Professor Zay. Dig through your deck a bit. Pick up your best instant or source from grave. This has to be good, right? Because it picks up Waterbending Lesson. And it also just filters through your most mediocre draws. Pick 10, Rumble Arena. At least scries one, I guess, for Haiku. There's no way I'm drafting lands, though. We can just draft spells and then cut the most mediocre spells for islands, and then if we find like any waterbending scrolls, because we're running a few islands, we could actually draw cards off those. It's probably the play. We just get the biggest idiot. Or the haster. But you're not going to get 20 damage at haste in the Avatar Omniscience format. Removal or a 4/4. I suppose I'll be running a few lands. Badgermal might actually be able to animate a land. I'm still going to take barrels for removal. There are some cards that'll absolutely just combo off and draw a ton. Even some uncommons like Katara are already quite a bit of card draw. You would like to blow up Katara, if at all possible. Just going to take the Cavalry over the Daily Indoctrination, because Indoctrination is really only good in the opening hand. Super narrow. All right, pack 2. Spirit Water Revival. Oh my god, you only need 1 permanent on the board to use this to draw 7? You don't even have to shuffle your hand back. You just shuffle your grave back, then draw 7. This has got to be one of the most busted rares in the entire set. We'll have to actually pay for the waterbending, but we can use 5 emblem mana and just a single permanent on board. This seems pretty much unbeatable. Spirit Water Revival, easily the pick there. Exile an opponent's graveyard for each creature exiled, create a 1/1. This is probably a tiny bit better in Omniscience than it is in regular draft, because those graveyards can get pretty full, but I guess they're usually full of instant sorceries. It's probably still Katara. Invasion Submersible can bounce your own card, which is pretty exciting. I think it's Katara, but honestly, if there were like a Waterbending Lesson, it would probably be Waterbending Lesson over Katara. It could be Messenger Hawk, I guess, or Submersible. These are the ones that could turn into like a card draw somewhat consistently. But Katara is still big. We've seen 0 copies of the blue shrine, but we do see the red one here. We could take that in anticipation of getting the blue shrine over just like a 5/6 or True Ancestry. True Ancestry draws 1 off the clue no matter what, and if there's a permanent engrave 2, then it is a draw 2. Again, I do think the Shrine thing can be strong, but it's quite the gamble. I'm just going to take the Ancestry. Accumulate Wisdom's fantastic. Oh, Waterbending Lesson's better. Accumulate Wisdom is great because, like, look at the top 3, put 1 into your hand's already good. Because there's quite a difference in Omniscience between the strongest cards in your deck and the weakest cards in your deck. So looking at the top 3, putting the draw 2 in your hand instead of the, you know, what, Air Nomad Legacy or something is already good. And then it's not that hard to get 3 lessons in your grave on Omniscience to just turn this into a draw 3. But Waterbending Lesson is literally always a draw 3. The discard one is a very insignificant downside. And even if it is significant, you have that emblem mana to waterbend and prevent that. If you do somehow draw all 3 like great spells. Pick 5 now. Geyser Leaper is nice and solid. It's a flying creature, so it is an evasive threat, and it also digs through your garbage with its draw and discard ability. Now we have Giant Koi as a filler finisher. I will take that over the Oasis. Abandon Attachments over Dragonfly Swarm. Seismic Sense doesn't do anything without lands on board. We might have to cut the Haiku by the end of this. We've seen no waterbending lessons, or sorry, waterbending scrolls to want to play a bunch of islands, or any islands. I just take a 7/7. Take another Abandon Attachments, beautiful. Raider or Riot. Pretty rough stuff. Lizard over all the little creatures. These are all real bad. Guess the 3/4's best. War Balloon's best there. Cycle of Renewal literally doesn't do anything. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. Another Boomerang Basics. Seems fantastic. Azula could draw a card every turn that she gets an attack off, but that doesn't happen too often. Avatar's Wrath's also actually kind of rude in Omniscience, because you have to spend Emblem mana to airbend your cards back in, and you only have enough to put 2 creatures back on the board per turn after the Avatar's Wrath. And obviously they don't get to put anything back the turn after. And the board states can get big enough that you could do this and kill your opponent just a swing or 2. So Avatar's Wrath seems pretty good too. Boomerang Basics just seems so consistent though. Like no matter what's going on, that card's going to be great. I'm going to take the Boomerang Basics still, but that's a close one. Another Waterbending Lesson, and it's not particularly close. Zay's probably the second best, maybe Cruelty as well. Cruelty's great in the opening hand. Pick number 3. This one is not where it's at. Just a random removal spell. Epic Downfall, maybe the North Pole Gates. This is essentially like a clue token land where we can use our emblem mana to sack it the turn after we play it to draw a card, and then it is a random land in the deck for Haiku. But I'm gonna Epic Downfall over it. Pick 4, another Boomerang Basics. June's pretty reasonable. Sacrifice your most filler creatures to turn them into clues and draw cards. So June's pretty good too. Lost Days makes a clue and slows your opponent down. These are actually 3 pretty good cards. Just gonna go big, full, dumb idiot wombo combo mode and just take Boomerang Basics. I mean, I could be the maximum goofball. I can Lowenly Boomerang Basics, Lowenly Boomerang Basics, Lowenly Boomerang Basics. If we draw Lowenly, Lowenly is like a draw our entire deck. So we draw Lowenly, we play Boomerang Basics, we draw another card. And then we do it again, draw another card. And then we do it again, draw another card. And then we play Lowenly and we grab Spirit Water Revival. Oh, that's not a lesson. Dang it. Then we draw Waterbending Lesson. So we draw like 6 cards if we draw Lowenly. Because there's Lowenly, and then there's 3 cards from the 3 Boomerang Lessons, and 3 cards from the Waterbending Lesson. Yeah, we turned Lowenly into a draw 6. That's very funny to me. Okay, I probably need a couple more random big dumb idiots. I mean, if I draw as many cards as I do, I don't need that much. I already have Katara, Koi, Lizard, Moose, Soldier, Rough Rhino thing, Unagi. Yeah, I don't mind taking another lesson here. Ancestry over the 6/5. I like Geyser Leaper's ability, and it's also a big dumb idiot finisher for us. Jet's Brainwashing could be rude. Borrow somebody and get a clue. It's probably not terrible. We do have to kick it for it to actually be exciting, so we'll have to use Emblem Mana. Yeah, I'm just going to take Geyser Leaper. Pick 7. Not an exciting pack. Removal that we have to have creatures on board to play, or the sack land. I'm at 33 out of 40 cards right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 picks to go, so I'll be able to cut 1 more card that I draft. Or I can cut the 1 haiku. If I manage to draft 0 lands this pack, I don't think I'm going to manage to dodge lands entirely. I think pick 8 is going to be a land no matter what, so maybe I just bite the bullet here and get a land that's reasonable to draw without the haiku. I mean, Allies at Last has got to be better than a land 9 times out of 10. I take the Allies at Last. Paku's very cute. Paku can't compete with Waterbending Lesson, but Paku can mill somebody out in the end game. You Waterbend with the Paku turn over turn after you've put all of your lessons into your grave. This is the 4th Waterbending Lesson. Man. I wish this Paku were in a different pack, because that would be such a way to win the game. We've got a lot of lessons in here. We can easily draw our whole deck and dump them all into grave and then just tap Paku like twice. Gonna take the Waterbending Lesson. Big doofus to end games. Another Zay. It is a shame Spirit Water Revival exiles itself, because looping that with Zay would be incredible, but that's probably why. It exiles itself so you can't loop it. Cruelty is good too. Cruelty's great in your opening hand. Like, absolutely fantastic in your opening hand, and then still somewhat relevant later. So it's a lot better than, like, Daily Indoctrination. But I'm going to go Zay, and now random finisher. Now Porcupine for a random finisher. Oh no! Ugh, Earthbending Lesson with no lands? Okay, I'm going to have to run at least 1 piece of utter garbage. A completely blank Earthbending Lesson. I gotta run Haiku over that. I'm gonna run Haiku over Earthbending Lessons, that anytime our opponent plays a land, I could Haiku. And then, you know, because Earthbending Lesson, if I don't run any lands, then Earthbending Lesson literally never does anything. But our opponents might have actually opened some Waterbending Scrolls. We did not see a single copy of Waterbending Scrolls, so we had just absolutely no other reason to play lands in this deck. So if we want to play a couple lands to make Haiku not 100% irrelevant at all times, we can play them over Destined Confrontation and Curious Farm Animals. Maybe a Balloon. Maybe have enough card draw to ditch like the clue token style. Just this is one clue token and literally nothing else. Sandbender Storm's pretty narrow removal. Swamp Hunters is a real mid creature. Raider's a real mid creature. The 5-drops, just by virtue of being 5-mana creatures, are all at least somewhat chunky. Okay, these are cards I could potentially cut to run a couple random lands for Haiku. Let's keep the mid chunky creatures. I think I'm definitely going to cut Air Nomad Legacy. I think Destined Confrontation as well will be almost completely irrelevant 9 times out of 10. So we'll go Confrontation and Legacy for Forest and Mountain, because then I could also cycle into them. There's an island as well. So we'll play like 1 island, 1 mountain, 1 forest, I guess. So cut 1 more card. I almost think I'd rather cut the 3/4 than the Naturalize, because this can blow up the blue shrine if opponents got it. Yeah, there were a lot of things that we like semi-speculated towards or were like keeping in mind that sadly just didn't pan out at all in this draft pod. We saw no waterbending scrolls. At least we didn't see them when we could reasonably take them. Like there might have been one in a pack with waterbending lesson and I just didn't notice because you never take almost anything else over waterbending lesson. But we didn't see any of the blue shrine that draws cards, and we didn't see any of the waterbending scroll that would make us want to run islands, and then we have islands for scroll and Haiku. So a little awkward there, but the amount of card draw that we managed to just open here, this is like a really consistent draw a bunch of stuff and dump the deck out kind of Omniscience deck, which is what you want, so it should still be pretty reasonable here. Triple abandon attachments as well to be able to discard something really filler like a land or a storm. It's going to be nice to, yeah, looks real solid. Call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay, see how far this one can take us. Just run out Katara and hope she's enough. I think we have enough card draw spells in our deck. We're supposed to mulligan any hand like this. The only issue is if they like turn 1 cruelty us. This is better. Discard Moose Lion, draw 2, Ancestry back Moose Lion, and get a clue. Oh wait, no, I don't discard Moose Lion because I have to ditch a card. Well, discard any permanent if we top deck one. Uh-oh. Hama is fantastic in Omniscience, and Hama hits the Boomerang Basics, so we lose. Because now they Boomerang Basics Hama 5 times. We get milled 15, and they draw 5. Oh, they waterbend too? The fact that you can waterbend means we just lose, period. Do I have any way to blow up a Hama in this deck? No, our 1 removal spell, we have to have creatures on board. Oh my god. I don't think I can do anything about this. Alright, well. We'll speed up the footage, but Omniscience Draft, be that way. Guess I'll die. Oh, they picked Waterbending Lesson. They could have won. The Boomerang Basics doesn't get exiled. They could have just kept doing that infinitely until we had 0 cards in deck. Never concede. Never concede. That's so lucky. Our opponent did not realize they were just full infinite there. Because the Boomerang Basics is free because they tapped the Hama for it. So they could do it infinite numbers of times. And we have no cards left in deck. I'm just going to pretend our opponent was just being nice to us. Thank you, opponent. I appreciate it. Get Haiku, nerd. I want to blow up this Hama so that if they try to like airbend it or anything, they don't just wombo combo us out. If they figure out they can just kill us with boomerang basics. Oh my god. Currently trying to kill Hama in response to... Oh, I don't know why I drew and discarded there. Because I had no cards in hand. Our opponent gets a second opportunity to realize that they have an infinite combo. They also get our draw 7. They didn't pick the draw 7, though. I guess they have to use Hama mana or waterbending to play it. Yeah, they have to use emblem mana or waterbending to play the card. So they can't actually do the draw 7 because it costs 9. You get this part for free if you cast it from your hand, but because they're casting it off of Hama, they actually have to spend a full 9. I think they had it though, right? Because they had 5 from the emblem and 4 permanents. Yeah, they could have drawn 7. I don't have any cards in hand. I will go to 18. I'm just gonna chill down here for the rest of the game because I'm tilting out of my chair. Because we're gonna super lose, but our opponent has like missed lethal infinite combo twice. Mill my mountain for fun. So I could have played Leaper, drawn a mountain, discarded a mountain, played cavalry, still runs the same way either way. Can you top deck a waterbending lesson, please? What the heck, dude? Oh, I guess the first 2 waterbending lessons they played were ours. Yeah, they played 4 waterbending lessons in this game. It's gross. You don't do anything, Zay. You have summoning sickness. You do something. I have an aneurysm. We're moving on to game 2. Here we are for game number 2. We're on the play here. This isn't the greatest hand. Geyser Leaper, draw and discard, plus Boomerang Basics for 1 extra card is fine. Actually, Waterbend tapping that. Oh, I'm pretty fine with that. I'm really glad they did that before I tried to Boomerang Basic something. Dish this mountain. No counterspell, please. Oh, I can't do the 6 yet. I can't do the 6 yet because I've spent mana on something else. So I should wait. No discard spells, please. And then even if they have one, we have Zay to bring back the Spirit Water Revival. Ang on the Zay, so it'll take another turn to bring back Spirit Water Revival if they can Zuko's Cruelty or whatever. Okay. We play everybody first for waterbending. 2, 3, 4. 3 mana plus 4 permanents. That is enough to play Zay here. I can do this waterbend. Yep. Draw 7. And that should do it. Yep, there's the concession from our opponent. That is 1-1 heading into game number 3. Here we are on the draw for game number 3. Solstice Revelations, draw 1. Canyon Crawler. And that's it. Abandon Attachments is the draw. Let's draw 3 first. Our opponent's having a worse time than us in Omniscience, it appears. And we're 2-1 heading into game number 4. Game 4 on the play. This is an abysmal opener. This is like an actual mulligan. Oh, and then this is an incredible one. Unagi and Guru? I'm not discarding the Unagi to abandon attachments. So Unagi and Guru, I think. Guru could hit a waterbending lesson. Baby. Here we go. Might as well. Oh, I wanted to tap Guru too. Alright, well, I guess I did that wrong. Boomerang Basics Guru? Dang it. No lesson that time. We'll find one soon enough. Sure. Just draw all of our waterbending lessons off of Guru Boomerang Basics. Yep. This is gonna be just gross. Don't have the land for that yet, but Haiku could be sick. Do I have one engrave? I don't have one in grave yet either, but I could discard one and then True Ancestry it up. Yeah, I'm gonna take Haiku. Badger Mole, to have something to put these counters on, we're gonna start getting. Oh my god, this is egregious. I'm gonna like time out here. This is gonna be so dumb. I'm gonna like cast my entire deck and then shuffle it all back in. I genuinely am. Now I have Sokka's Haiku up. Gotta counter the draw 3. Okay. Second waterbending lesson resolves. Mongoose Lizard. Canyon Crawler. Beetle-headed Merchants. Katara. With the permanence to waterbend for her too. Can't blow her up till she's already drawn one, so I think I save allies at last to blow up a blocker. Because they already have to tap a blocker there, so I can blow up one blocker and bounce the other with boomerang basics. Have well over lethal. If they try to cast anything to survive next turn, I can use Zay. Pick up the counter spell. Because you can only do it during your turn, but you can do it in response to anything. No, well, just double boomerang basics. Okay. There's the concession from our opponent. Another very, very dumb, very silly game of Magic where that's just how the cards line up. We got to just combo chain off like nobody's business, and so it's an auto win. That is 3-1. This is slow card draw. It's not turn 1 card draw. There's no haiku for the land. Visible. Guru and Basics is a great combo. If we get Ozai's Cruelty or whatever, we're crushed. But if our opening 3 got Ozai's Cruelty, we'd also be in a real bad spot. Just a single Professor Zay. Tools of War, Canyon Crawler, Vine Bender. Waterbending something? Oh, waterbending gets ability. Cool. Just a land if we find haiku. I should keep it in hand for now to discard it. If we find abandoned attachments. It's gotta be waterbending lesson, right? Find another waterbending lesson. True Ancestry if Guru dies. We'll actually pay the 2 here. There's Spirit Water Revival? I shouldn't have paid the 2, that's on me. Slow and Lee for Sokka's Haiku. Know that we're safe. And then just have a party. No, I tried to full control to tap the land in response, but I was too slow. I'm gonna have the world's biggest Lowenly this game. I mean, I need 6 untapped permanents. I will get to Spirit Water Revival. I get to just do the whole combo again. I'm just gonna keep putting them on Lowenly because it's funny. I'm just clicking on whatever's convenient because I don't want to time out, and it doesn't really matter. Spin those wheels. Maybe I can 20 them here. Dang it, another scoop. I think I could probably 20 them. Because I have Sandbender Storm too. So if I cast 15 lessons... Okay, maybe not. Maybe not quite 20 damage. But I could Katara too. No, I could kill them this turn for sure. After all this. So this is going to be a 3-3. Storm's going to make it a 6-6. And then that 6-6, every other lesson I'm casting is getting another counter. And with enough other permanents, I can make its base stats like 10-10. Basically, if I get 10 counters on it and then 10 other permanents on board, I win. I already have 4 other permanents. And it's at 5 counters. Yeah, 4 permanents, 5 counters. We're halfway there already, and we get to try to chain here. Depending on what the waterbending lesson hits, we probably were going to lethal them that turn. That's absolutely stupid. And that's Omniscience Draft. We are 4-1 heading into game number 6. All right, here we are on the play for game a lot. I think I'm just going to low and leave for a waterbending lesson, because if they have instant speed removal and I try to do the bounce spell thing, that's a little too cute. Basics, waterbending lesson. I think I need to just waterbending lesson right off the bat. So we don't get countered by a removal spell. Let's play the farm animals, as stupid as it is, just for another waterbending lesson permanent, another waterbending permanent. And then the lizard here, the mountain, is the discard for the abandoned attachments if the lesson doesn't find anything else mediocre. Badgermole for haste damage here. Pretty cute. No permanents in grave yet. For true ancestry, so we abandon Downfall. I could have actually abandoned the mole and then picked it back up with ancestry. Reasonable too. I'm not going to gain the extra life, I'm just going to get the clue. Save the extra mana if I get another clue. Or 4 if I get another clue. Do they have the removal? Yeah. Well, very glad I didn't instantly tutor for basics then. We made the right choice there. Let's see what they got. Waterbending lesson, as you do. Archers, discard 1, draw 1. Attachments, draw 2. Airbend the archers to discard 1 and draw 1 again. Could shoot the archers in response, but I think I'm going to be shooting the Appa here to prevent them from airbending turn over turn if the game goes long. Canyon Crawler. Try to blow up the Canyon Crawler instead to get better attacks in. Okay, attacks on the ground are going to be rough regardless. Let's just get rid of the Appa. And this plays better against removal. They can't use a removal spell to counter this because both of our creatures are individually big enough to kill Appa. But if I try to kill Canyon Crawler, one removal spell would counter allies at last. Top deck war, but we got a counter spell up. Sure thing. I think it's pretty 50-50 here. It's pretty much like anyone's game. I think that favors them enough. I have to haiku. But I was gonna say, us having a haiku is really good. But them having a food to sack the merchants is also really good. Yeah. Guess I don't even need to put the farm animals there. This just balances the board out, a 3-1 versus a 1-1, so it's all up to whatever they drew. Airbending lesson, the 3-1 to discard their other card. Oh, and draw one, so it's like a draw 2, discard 1. That's pretty good. As is abandon attachments. Another waterbending lesson. Spirit Oasis. Make them have 0 shrines when that ability resolves. They got another airbending lesson. That's pretty good for them. They're gonna Lost Days it. Fair. Get their clue out of Lost Days and redraw it later. There's a Koi. Alright, what do we draw? Earth Kingdom Soldier. I will take what I can get. We're still at 23, so I have time to try to just have Zay pick up a waterbending lesson and pop off. But Earth Kingdom Soldier is a very mid draw overall. We're getting behind enough, we're going to have to do one of those draw the whole deck loops. We're going to have to draw our waterbending spirit thing. Okay, we lose. Our deck just scoops to Hama because they just use the boomerang until we mill out. That's going to be every single loss today, isn't it? That was our game 1 loss, was they just had Hama Boomerang Basics Infinite Loop. They didn't even know they could infinite us, so we didn't actually technically die to that. But we could have died turn 1 before, or turn 0 before you could even play anything. And yeah, now this game we just die because they can infinitely mill us. Yeah. Okay. Hama is literally the best card against our deck. If we ever see Hama, we just lose. And that's been both our losses, 4-2, heading into Game 7. Very strong opening hand, but we are on the draw, so we have to see what kind of nonsense they lead with. Messenger Hawk. Aang's Journey for the Blue Shrine, I'm sure. Yep. Waterbending Lesson. I feel like being on the play in Omniscience, Jesus Christ, is always busted. But the fact that there are literally 0 counter spells that work on the draw in Omniscience in this format is kind of gross. Because there's just absolutely no way in the whole set to interact turn 1 if you're on the draw. Are they somehow out of clue mana here? It looks like they are. What did they have to spend their mana on? They kicked an Aang's Journey. Oh, they kicked an Aang's Journey and they spent mana on the lesson instead of tapping stuff. Well, that's drawing the deck. Maybe not. The draw 7's better. I lied a little bit. And put these permanents out so that I can waterbend. Although I don't want to tap the 7/7. Let's play the island. And then tap Zay and a floating mana for the waterbend. Should tap the island now that I have Sokka's Haiku. Now I feel a little bad I played the Moose Lion first, but it was for theoretical waterbending. Okay. So we blow up Appa, have a Haiku up, and then next turn we Zay into a waterbending lesson. Cavalry's an 8-mana exhaust ability for the counters, so they'll need to draw a land. Because you have 5 emblem mana, 2 firebending mana. And that is 7 out of 8 if they want to have a big enough attacker to attack into the Moose Lion. Swamp Hunters is fine. Messenger Hawk is fine, just the 1 clue. Mongoose Lizard is fine. I mean, not like fine, we're definitely falling behind slowly here, but it's not the kind of card that's gonna completely crush us like a waterbending lesson. Guess they want that in graveyard. They got the return a permanent from grave to hand thing. No, they have a raid trigger. So it's gonna be a 6/5, makes it 2/2 every time it attacks. I honestly think it resolves. That's a draw. I don't shuffle my hand away or anything. So we just lead with that. And we're chilling now. Could keep the farm animals in hand to have something to discard to abandon attachments. I can also run it out to the board to have something more filler to tap. To like the waterbending lesson. I've already got the boomerang basics if I want to spam low and Lee. I could keep going, but I think I'm just supposed to spit out the lethal board and then pass with the haiku up. Well, I guess not that I'm supposed to do that, but that I can do that. Alright, there's the concession from our opponent. They are over it, and that is 5-2 now. Heading into game number 8. As long as we can dodge those Hamas, this draft pod was absolutely ridiculous. Well, if we don't get one turn killed, we probably one turn kill them in response. Uh-oh. They've only got the one waterbending lesson in the deck? Oh, or they're just getting really cute with it. Alright, we have a lot to deal with here. A lot to deal with. So we'll do what we can here. I was thinking about force cycling the Moose Line, but I want all the emblem mana for Spirit Water Revival. If I can. And I guess the more permanents I put out, the less I'd have to have emblem mana. Yeah, I probably could have actually force cycled Moose Lion here. I mean, I could have, for sure. But I suppose I want all my blockers up too. Yeah. Zuko's exile the Zay, sure. Alright. Let's make sure to click fast. Need to draw a land. Where the heck the lands, though? No lands in grave. I guess I can make like one hasty land. Yeah, the land doesn't matter a massive amount. I need it for haiku. That does matter. Not an astronomical amount. Yeah, we just need to untap with Katara and have a haiku up, and that's how we win here. This might be insane, but I'm gonna Boomerang Basics Badger Mole. Now that they've tapped their creatures out. I think we can lethal them with Katara and the hasty land. Can we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 plus 6. It's exact, he's right. Alright. Well, that was our first turn. Omniscience is stupid. We are 6-2 now, heading into the final battle with this absolutely absurd deck. Our only losses being to Hama. If they cast a Hama, we're gonna die. If they don't, we're probably gonna do something completely absurd. We'll see how it all wraps up for us as we head into this final battle. I think we keep this. It's slow because we're just going to be basically letting them go first and just do nogging whatever they do. But I think it's worth it. We give ourselves the chance of trying to still do a turn 1 pop-off by basicsing for the draw, but don't find anything relevant there. Geyser Leaper, Fire Nation Raider. And there's a Moose Lion. A Zuko. Zuko's not great because you have to use your emblem mana on cards you cast from exile. So I'm not monumentally worried about Zuko. I could blow him up here. I don't think I'm going to. Jump attack with merchants. Draw a card plus get a raider clue is interesting to me. I'd have to sack Barrels of Blasting Jelly though. Yeah, that's not good. Five up against the 4/3 probably. I'll have to pay 1 emblem mana. Balloon is not where it's at. Nobody's got a land yet, but I think Haiku's still going to be better than Raider whenever somebody does find one. So now they can cast their card draw without worrying about us drawing cards. Probably will boop the Zuko here too, because now we're stopping them from drawing cards and stopping damage for the turn. They hold up on blocks, and main phase 2, they cast a True Ancestry on the Zuko, fair enough. Can't use the clue till our turn, they've already spent all their mana. Sandbender Storm, we can boop them again. gonna spend Emblem Mana on this instead of Waterbending because I want my creatures untapped right now. There we go, that could be huge. Decline the auto pay because I have True Ancestry. Although I guess True Ancestry, yeah, that was dumb of me. True Ancestry could just pick up the barrels here. It's already great. Okay, I'll ditch the farm animals here. Lonely. And we are just chilling over here. Play around this last card being removal. Downfall and Storm and still play a bunch of idiots. In fact, yeah, I am probably supposed to just keep drawing here. I probably shouldn't have tapped Geyser Leaper because that would make it easier if we find a Katara or Guru to work towards lethal in one shot. Give them less opportunities to top deck their own draw 7 or something insane. Just gonna be True Ancestring back all these goodies. There's the land for Haiku, and now we are super vibing. I think I've drawn every lesson now. Maybe not, let's see. Oh, there we go. Now we know what we're working towards. Permanence on board. We have drawn every lesson, okay. Any of these multiple permanents? They're all one permanent. Okay, and just pick whatever then. I'm gonna abandon it for a potential Guru. No Guru, but Soldier for extra damage. As well as Badgermole Haste with Haiku up. Ancestry for extra permanents. Doesn't matter. What we pick. Okay, Katara can be for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be lethal. I even forgot about the floating mana. That was definitely lethal. All right. Well, that was a successful Avatar The Last Airbender Omniscience run. Maybe it's actually good it's ranked. That one hits us the mythic ranking this time around. All right, well, not much you can say there. We had a great draft pod for the Omniscience event, and that is by far the biggest determining factor on whether or not you're going to have success if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can end up in a great draft pod and still not end up with a good deck. Like if you've never played Omniscience before in your life, you might not know how good cards like Boomerang Basics could be, although this was definitely a double-edged sword. Having this in your deck means that you automatically lose against Hama. If you have a Boomerang Basics in your grave or a Boomerang Basics gets milled, the Hama players can infinite kill you immediately. Because they can play the Boomerang Basics for free by waterbending with Hama. replay the Hama for free, mill you another 3, and just mill your whole deck every time. So this was a little bit of a double-edged sword. But I did want to mention it as like one of those cards that like doesn't look insane or anything. Like Abandon Attachments as well, if you've never played Omniscience before, but is actually really, really good. Now, even if you've never played Omniscience before, I think it's pretty clear. It's not hard to realize that card draw is going to be good. So cards like Waterbending Lesson that are like a big draw 3 are huge. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing here is that this draft pod was just excellent for Omniscience. 4 Waterbending Lesson, 3 Abandon Attachments, Spirit Water Revival, basically always guaranteeing a win. The draw 7, that's pretty easy to get to. Katara was an absurd card, as she always is. Lowen Lee's absolutely fantastic in Omniscience to tutor out those lessons, particularly when you have Waterbending Lesson in the deck. Also fun with Boomerang Basics, but a little more risky, because again, we could play Lowen Lee, tutor for Boomerang Basics, and then have them removal spell our Lowen Lee before we bounce them back to our hand to just counter that. So the safest way to play is still grabbing just Waterbending Lesson first, but there's that extra utility we could do. Unagi's great in Omniscience. Everyone's doing their best to draw as many cards as possible, so this is likely to trigger almost every turn. Yep, and then just a bunch of random filler beef when there's no card draw or tutors and stuff. And that's the deck. Solid deck here, solid Omniscience run. Don't think I did anything monumentally smart or monumentally well. Certainly did not play to my best. So we had tons and tons of decisions, and I was just trying to click through things somewhat fast as well as I could. But it's kind of how the Omniscience format is. Sometimes the draft pod just feeds you an incredible deck, and that deck just absolutely carries. Absolutely absurd stuff today. For the 7-win run that pushes us all the way into Mythic because for some godforsaken reason, Omniscience drafts are ranked. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more directly in your feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.